Hi, I'm Lindsay Woods, and I am on the board of Rockland Cares.
My name is Melissa Cook. I am from Abington with the newly relaunched coalition, Abington Copes.
I'm Kelsey Willett, and I'm a volunteer with Abington Copes.
My name is Stacy Gardner, and I'm the president of Rockland Cares.
My name's Ted Hancock. I'm a retired police officer from the city of Brockton. I was assigned in the schools.
My family has been impacted by addiction through my cousin's addiction. He actually passed away in 2009.
We lost my sister last year, April 18th, 2021.
My brother struggled with substance use disorder for about 15 years before he lost his battle in April of 2017.
My mother lost her battle to it on April 18th, 2021.
As far as my children, dealing with them, I have two of them that were heroin users.
So before my family was impacted by addiction, I had no idea that it was a disease. Once my cousin passed away, I realized, well, he's not what society makes you to believe an addict is like. He's funny, he's charismatic, he's so smart and creative, and he was taken by this disease.
Everyone's been touched in one way or another, but I didn't understand how traumatizing it was to family members.
I was 14 when my mother became addicted, so I only thought badly. I didn't really even know what drugs were, certainly not heroin or crack or meth, anything along those lines. I just knew like the bad words like junkie and that it was their choice because I knew who my mom was before she was addicted, and I saw that that wasn't her when she became addicted.
I don't think I ever envisioned it something that would hit so close to home. I think I, saw drugs on TV or in movies, and it never seemed to be something that could impact us. I've learned so much about addiction and that it can impact anyone.
I didn't understand how you could equate it to a disease just because I've seen the struggles of my kids.
Addiction is a disease that affects the entire family, and so he was arguing with his parents, with my aunt and uncle, and with everybody around him, and just turning into somebody he wasn't, and that's when I realized just something wasn't right.
So Megan was diagnosed at a young age with mental illness, depression mainly. She struggled so much with that, I just thought she was depressed. And when we found out it was opiates, I'll never forget that day because I felt like someone punched me in the stomach. Made it so much harder for her to overcome addiction. And I feel like that is very common and not talked about. But a lot of times, someone with addiction also has a mental illness.
I could just tell because she wasn't herself. She wasn't loving and happy, didn't really care about anyone or our family. She just wasn't there.
Prior to, he was very engaged with our family. We're really close, we spend a lot of time together. So looking back, I think that was one of the first indicators that he was sort of withdrawing from our family activities.
Generally, when either one of my sons were using, they would suddenly stop calling me. I always had a good relationship with them. They pretty much would contact me 5 out of 7 days a week, but suddenly I would hear nothing.
The process of grief it's different for everybody, right? We have found that it is helpful to get involved and make an impact and really do that in memory of my cousin Paul. So his sister has started an organization, and I've become involved in Rockland Cares, and that has been really helpful. And whatever it is, just don't do it alone because you're not alone.
What I have really found helpful is I got into therapy just a few weeks after my sister passed. Also, I'm a spiritual person, so talking to clergy, and then, believe it or not, Facebook groups. And those are like the 3 things that I feel helped me the most.
I think it would have helped during that time while she was here if there were groups that I knew of like other teenagers who had parents who were struggling.
Thinking back to when he was still here and struggling, I think I focused so narrowly on the help that he needed to get well that I didn't even recognize that we as caregivers also needed resources and help. Since losing him, I became involved with Rockland Cares and have met so many people that have lived the same story I have, that really understand having the opportunity to be a part of a group that makes a difference in this space has been most helpful.
It's really hard when you try to find a place for them to detox. A few times my son who passed away detoxed on my couch. It's really an ugly sight. I mean, I use the court, and the court has improved. Also, it's only valid through the hours that court's open. My middle son, he's actually been clean now for about 1.5 years.
People sharing their stories are making a difference. People are sharing the parts of people that is aside from their addiction, and so people are able to really humanize these people that society has brushed aside as someone who is just simply an addict.
I've been able to be vocal about my sister, and which has helped me, but I feel like not everybody can do that because from the get-go, looking into resources and support, I didn't really find that in my community.
Stigma makes younger people very naive also, so they don't know, and it's scary. You never know the story behind why someone is addicted.
But having to deal with it and seeing the families that are affected, sorry. I just feel like it's totally, I mean, it's nothing for you to be ashamed of. There's so many people in the same boat as you. Your kids are still your kids. People don't put it in like obituaries, suddenly died. I don't know why you don't just say what happened. I feel like if you say losses battle to addiction, or however you want to phrase it, at least people know it happened. Maybe it would save a friend of his.
The more that we tell our stories and people start to see other people that look like them, that live like them, that are in their communities, it will help them realize that that's not what addiction is and that it can impact any of us. Instead of judging people or looking down on people or sort of brushing it off that it can't happen to you, we should all be more understanding and empathetic and working together to find solutions.
We see their addiction, but we know they're not defined by their addiction. We see you, and you're not in this alone, and please reach out to somebody.
And even as hard as it is to see someone go through that, you just always have to be there to make sure they are okay.
So don't hesitate, reach out, talk to people. There are others who have been in your shoes, and even if they can't do anything in the moment to help your loved one, because ultimately they need to be ready to help themselves, they can at least be a support system for you and all that you're going through.
Well, the first thing I would recommend is getting Narcan and having that available. It's very important. And don't give up on them. It's so easy just to be overwhelmed by it all, but just you have to keep at it. You have to keep in hope that this time's going to be the time that they're going to get it, that they're going to want to keep clean, because it's up to them.